Okay, you can start whenever.
Go.
Hi guys, welcome to our team call. We are super excited to have this mount on tonight, and I'm really excited to talk to you. Cyndal Glynn, most of you guys know me. Tonight I'm going to be talking about social media and posting, how to basically make your posts into first-rate posts. And I have a nice little PowerPoint I'm going to go through with you. If you guys have questions, definitely you can ask during if you want to shout them out. This will be pretty laid back and relaxed. If not, go ahead and save until the end. And we will just kind of go ahead and get started. So I'm going to first share my screen with you. And let's go all the way to the top. Maybe I should have set this up beforehand. Okay, can everybody see that all right? Thumbs up, nods? Yes, okay, perfect. All right, so like I said, tonight I'm going to be talking to you about social media, first rate versus second rate. Now, this was a topic that they covered at Summit, and I'm dragging lots of different points from different presentations into this PowerPoint, but they gave some great examples, and I loved how they really gave us good tips on how to take your posts that the typical average person puts up and really make them first rate. So hopefully by the end of this presentation, you totally grasp that and you can see where you can improve on your posts. Okay, so tonight we're gonna be chatting about, first off, who your target audience is, your mission, staying connected to that mission, some social media rules for us coaches, and then turning your second rate post into first rate. Okay guys, now if you don't have pen and paper out yet, please get it out. There was lots of note taking when we were taking notes at Summit. So I'm hoping there's some notes. And we're also gonna do a couple little exercises here. So first off, who are your posts? Who are your target for your posts? Like who, when you think about what post you're gonna create, who is the person you have in mind for that post? Who exactly is your target audience? And that answer is you. Like really, truly, you are your own target audience. It's kind of one of those things that sometimes we put posts out there and we don't always think about who we're trying to target and who we're trying to talk to. So one of the key things in doing our posts is we have to know who our target audience is. So is our target audience female, male? Are they married, single? Maybe they're a parent, maybe they're not at all, maybe they're stay-at-home moms. Are they employed? And you want to know their age for sure, and then hobbies. Now, keep in mind, I think as a Beachbody coach, we always, and just as a helpful person in general, we want to be able to help everybody. And that's just not possible. Like, it's just not possible to help everybody. So we really need to really kind of gear into what our target, kind of our niche audience is going to be. For myself personally, I am very much targeting moms. Like, I'm a mom. I relate to moms. Whether they're stay-at-home or employed, because I do a little bit of both. I always joke that I'm a part-time stay-at-home mom. Most of my clients are married, but I do have quite a few single, so that's not a total variable for me, but the majority are married. And then as far as hobbies, you guys should really kind of think about who you want to hang out with. You know, for me, I'm a nurse. So a lot of my clients are nurses. A lot of them are people that maybe I'm a huge breastfeeding advocate. So I'm in a lot of groups like that. So I have quite a few of those people in my groups. I also am I'm very pro-life, so I have quite a few of those in my groups as well. So kind of think about like those hobbies or maybe those passions that you have. And we're just gonna, I want you to just take a minute or so now. I'm gonna put a timer on, okay? We're just gonna take 1 minute. And I want you to write down who your target audience is. Their age, for me personally, it's about ages 25 to 35. And keep in mind, you know, this is your target audience right now. This doesn't mean that that audience is not going to change in the future. So 1 minute, you guys go ahead and go write down kind of 5 or 6 things that you know specifically about your target audience that basically describes you. I know we have some big dog lovers in our group too, so that's definitely a passion and hobby I know for a lot of people. And if your target's parents, what kind of age are their kids? That's kind of a big thing. My kids are just starting school, so a lot of my moms, I might not relate to the ones that have all high schoolers or college age kids, but I can definitely relate to those that have toddlers that are kind of wanting to pull their hair out almost every night waiting for bedtime. Ha ha. All right, there's our timer. Does everybody have a pretty decent list? Kind of have that target audience in mind. If not, go back and fill this out at the end. So as far as a mission statement, you know how like every company has a mission statement? In fact, Beachbody has a mission statement, and their mission statement is to help people achieve their goals and enjoy a healthy, fulfilling life. So guys, that describes all of us. That is a very large part of our mission statement because we are all Beachbody coaches. But what exactly is your core purpose? What exactly is your mission statement? That's another key part when you're thinking about your target audience. You have to figure out, what is your purpose? Why are you targeting them? What do you want to achieve with putting these posts up? Because you guys, if we don't have an actual mission, because the thing is we're not in sales, and we'll talk about that as we go through this PowerPoint, but if you don't have a mission for these posts, we're just like putting them out there just for the fun of it, and there's no reason for that. So we really need to define your purpose. And when I was looking through this today, I was like, okay, I've always had an idea in my mind of what my purpose was, why I was doing this, and we always write down our whys, but we don't ever like actually write down a mission statement like they do. And you guys, we're CEOs. We own our own business. We should all have a mission statement. So mine is, I empower moms to take care of their minds, bodies, and souls so they can better care for their loved ones. That's my mission statement. And it honestly was pretty easy for me to come up with a defined mission statement because this is where I was at, like when this company found me. I was in such a low spot as a mom that everything from the outside looked really, really happy. Everything looked great. But on the inside, I was just drowning. And because I was drowning because I was not taking care of myself. I wasn't taking care of myself mentally. I wasn't doing any personal development. I didn't even know what personal development really was. I wasn't taking care of myself spiritually by any means. I would say prayers at bedtime with my kids, but that was essentially it. And yes, we attended church, but I wasn't really following my path that I was supposed to be on. And I certainly wasn't working out or helping myself nutrition-wise. So for me, I definitely found that I had to take care of myself so I could take care of those that I loved. And now that's what I want to do to other moms, what I want to see them do, empower themselves so they can be better. So we're not going to do it now because I think it might take a little bit longer, but at the end of this, you are going to have an assignment that you are going to come up with your mission statement. And I cannot wait to see you guys post it in our group. And I want to hear what everybody's mission statements are. And some of them might be similar to mine or to another coach's, but it still has to be you and like why you're doing this. Okay, so who's familiar with the dream board? Anybody heard of them? Yes. So when I first started coaching, I remember being in this group and they were like, create your dream board, yada, yada, yada. And I was like, okay, yeah, I know. I never did it. You guys, I never did it at all, which was so silly. So I'm going to really encourage you to create your dream board because this is all going to tie your mission back in. It's going to help you kind of realize that target audience, and it's going to give you a visual for what you want to do every single day. When you're jumping on to do your power hour, look at it, see what you want to do, and it's going to keep your mission in the forefront right there. So here is mine. And you can see I have on here my team, what I want to do. I want to be the best mom I can be. I want to be a loving, devoted wife. I want to be debt free. I want to eat well. I want to be healthy and just fulfilled. And all those little things in the middle there, that's going to help me get there. This is really, since I put this together, you guys, I stare at this every single time before my power hour. And I'm like, okay, I know what I want to do. I want to be finding those moms that are looking for this too, that they want this as well, and they deserve it. So that's where my posts are I'm really able to kind of dig into that and find it inside myself to go, okay, I deserve to put, or I need to put good posts out to my followers because they deserve to see that part of me. So there's your second assignment, but we'll talk about it at the end too. You're going to be putting together a dream board. All right, since we kind of have our target audience and what our post should be about kind of down, now we're going to talk about some social media rules. Now, these are the rules for coaches, and they really should go for anybody that's in multi-level marketing, but these are specifically for us. First off, we share. We do not sell. We don't sell products. We don't do any of that stuff. I mean, really, who signed up for this job to be a salesman or woman? Like, I didn't do that at all. Like, there's no way. If somebody was like, you're going to go into this and you're going to be like the best salesperson ever, I would have laughed and been like, no, my dad was in sales. My dad, oh my gosh, he drove me crazy. Like, that man could sell anything. And I'm like, that is not me. Not my thing. So you guys, we don't sell things. Nobody signed up for this to be a salesperson. We signed up because we want to help people. And we do that by sharing our story and sharing our journey. So the second thing you want to do is create those scroll stopping visuals. You really want to create something that catches people's eyes because, let's face it, you guys, humans are visual people, and our minds are just going faster and faster every single year. It just keeps getting quicker, and everything is sped up, and Facebook keeps changing and evolving, and people are just scrolling and they don't really care what they're looking for until something catches their eye. So we have to create those scroll stopping visuals. We want you also to be following the 80-20 rule. This is kind of like just with nutrition. 80% of the time, you're going to be adding value to people. So this is stuff that you're passionate about. So you're going to be posting about those different passions of yours. You're going to be posting about your daily life. You're maybe going to be posting about nutrition, different things like that. And then 20% of the time, you get a post about business. Now, keep in mind, guys, if you only post once a day, it's going to take you 5 days before you can start posting about the business. Okay, so really, you should be posting 5 times a day, and one of those times can be about the business. Or maybe you're posting 3 times a day, and every other day you're posting about the business. So that's a big percentage, because nobody wants to have that friend or that person they're following that's just constantly, that's all they do is put stuff out there about Beachbody, blah, blah, blah. I mean, I think we all have those friends. I know I have quite a few Yoli friends that do that, some other people, but it's just like that's all they talk about nonstop. And it's not creating value for my life. It's not creating value for life for any of the other people that follow them. We have to be adding that value to them so they want to see that, and then just sprinkling in the different things that we do. You also want to make sure you're posting publicly. There's quite a few people that post privately, or maybe you're just posting just to your friends. Make sure all of your posts are public. You really want to create curiosity. We don't need to tell them every single little detail. We want to create this visual, this stop, where they go, what is this? What do they have? And we'll talk about some posts that you can do that on in a little bit. You also want to really engage your followers, you guys. If people are following you, whether you have a like page or it's just your personal page, and they're following you and they want to see stuff and they're commenting and they're liking everything, you need to engage with them. You need to talk with them. You need to thank them. You need to go, hey, I think this was a tip actually Kate sent a while back. I think one of our upline coaches was doing it, where they actually would take made like or comment on their page, or not their page, like on a certain post, they would send them a personal message. So I kind of do this probably twice a month. If I have like a post that is like really engaging with a lot of people, I will just go through and bring up that list on Facebook where you can see like who liked your thing, and you can message them right from there. And I will just send a canned message that's like, hey, I know this only took a minute or two of your time, but I really appreciate you following my page and liking and commenting on my posts. Thanks so much. And you guys, the response that you get from that is crazy. Like, people want to be recognized for what they're doing. And yeah, they're taking just a second out of their time to like something of yours. but it's building you and it's building your following. So we need to be appreciative of those people. All right, so now we're gonna get into the guts of this, the first rate versus the second rate. So a first rate post, when you're putting it together, you're gonna be excited. You're gonna be like, oh, I'm so pumped. I have such a good message with this. Like, it's gonna be really exciting for you to post it. It's gonna make people stop and wanna follow you. It's gonna feel really fresh. And like, even if you're saying the same thing that 500 other coaches say, it's still gonna seem like a fresh perspective. It's inspiring. It's gonna be relatable. As far as the second rate post, those are those icky ones, you guys, that you put up there and it feels really salesy and like you're really trying to make a hard sale and it's just not working. They're probably not you. You know, like I said, we're not salesmen and women in this group by any means. And it doesn't connect to your mission. If your mission says, hey, I want to be the best salesperson, I guess put up salesy posts. But I'm guessing your mission probably does not say that, make sure all of your posts, especially when they're relating to the business, make sure they're connecting with your mission, that mission statement, that core purpose for why we're posting. A lot of times those second rate ones, they kind of feel fake. They feel like they're forced, like you're trying to just put something out there just to get it out there. And you really lose your voice when you do that. I mean, you kind of just lose it all. Like people stop paying attention to exactly what your posts are. And if you keep doing that over and over and over again, people are going to stop following you. They're going to maybe not unfriend you, but they're going to stop following your personal page. They're going to stop following your like page. They don't want to see those second rate posts over and over again. So how do you make your post first rate? First off, include a picture of you. If you are shy of taking a selfie, you're going to have to get over that. I can promise you that I don't think I ever took a selfie ever before becoming a Beachbody coach. In fact, I remember Kate announcing that I was coaching and talking about how long it took her to find a picture that was just me without my kids. Like, I never had pictures by myself and I wasn't going to post them on Facebook if I did. So the whole selfie thing, you got to get over it. Just like throw it out the window. It's not a big deal. Everybody does selfies. My goodness, my grandmother has done selfies. So get over it. It's not a big deal. It's not a vain thing. You're just going to have to just dive in and do a selfie. Also, I love this tip that they talked about in Summit. Say your posts out loud. So when you're putting up a post, say maybe you're putting it up about Shakeology, and in your comment section, you're like, hey, this has this superfood, da-da-da-da-da, and you list off all the ingredients and all of this wonderful benefits that it does and all these studies that are done behind it. Nobody wants to read that, even though it's good information. It's fabulous information. And anybody that knows me knows I'm a total research nerd. So I love that type of stuff. But nobody else wants to read that other than the nerdy people like me, okay? The majority of people don't want to read something like that. So say it out loud. Are you going to tell your friend when you're sitting there face to face, are you going to list off the ingredients list of Shakeology? Heck no, you won't do that. You would be like, oh my gosh, I absolutely love that. I can have a milkshake every morning and it tastes fabulous. Look at my nails. My nails are insane. My hair has grown, I don't know how much. It's so much thicker. This stuff is the bomb and it's preservative free. It's, there's no artificial sweeteners in it. It's all these stuff that I really appreciate having with a supplemental shake, and it's super easy. You're going to totally let it roll off your tongue and you're going to give examples for how it's helped you. You're not going to read an ingredients list to somebody. That's just how it is. Also, make sure those align, make sure all of your posts align with your mission, you guys. It just goes right back to that icky feeling where you're just I feel like I'm forcing this post to go out there. It's not aligning with you. It's not you. You don't need to put that post up. All right. We're going to dive into some examples. So here's some examples of some second rate posts. When you look at these, you guys, do you not feel the desperation? Keep calm and let me be your Beachbody coach. No, you can't be my Beachbody coach. Nobody's going to want that. Nobody wants to see posts like that. And even though it's yeah, that's a cute thing. And the whole keep calm, let me da-da-da, that's been a big popular thing lately. It doesn't apply to us. We should not have to put a post out like this. Also, the changing lives, the born to be coach, all those things, they're true statements, but nobody wants to read these things. You don't want to be flashing constantly. I'm a coach, I'm a coach, I'm a coach. You know, like it's not worth it. So that's kind of a second rate post. Here's some examples of some first rate posts. So number one, you guys can see right in these posts, it's eye-catching, isn't it? Like both of these are really good posts that you're like, oh, I kind of want to stop. What does she have to say? You can see that they have pictures of themselves in these pictures. You know, I mean, they're great photos. You don't have to have these professionally done by any means. You can see in the second one that she's not professionally made up. But you can see that they're looking for coaches. And it's really just totally scroll stopping. You want to look at these. You want to go, okay, what are these? It's pretty simple. It's direct. Some of these are fairly wordy, but they're not like overly wordy where this has like 10 quotes on top of each other. They're being direct with what they're looking for. They're telling you what they want to do and who they're looking for. Okay. These might be my favorite type of second-rate posts. We see them all the time, and I have been guilty of the Shakeology second-rate posts before. Been there, done that, guys. So I actually looked back through mine because I'm like, I know I posted second-rate Shakeology posts, and I actually couldn't find them. So I'm wondering if I posted them maybe in challenge groups because I must not have posted them publicly. But so you can see here on this first one, this person's talking about their lab values. And we all know that Shakeology can really help improve our lab values. You know, for example, my husband's been on high blood pressure medications for a while. He ended up having a reaction to it earlier this year. I don't know if any of you guys know anything about lisinopril, but it's pretty common after being on like a lisinopril, that type of medication for a long period of time, you're more likely to have an allergic reaction. So he did. So we took him off of it. His only other option is a beta blocker, which beta blockers make you feel like crap. So he's been doing Shakeology and nutritional changes, and his blood pressures have actually stayed pretty darn good. So you guys, that's somebody that I can tell you for sure. I know Kay has a story. She was anemic for a while, and like there's so many other stories out there that our lab values really can improve with Shakeology. But when you look at this post, is that what you're drawn to? Like if you were scrolling through, would you stop at this and go, oh my gosh, look at those numbers? No, you would never do that. This is something that they could have easily taken a picture of them, maybe holding their lab values and being like, oh my gosh, this is crazy. And then talk about it in the comments. Like, I've never had this good of lab values. This is awesome. This is what I've been doing, instead of putting it on a post. Obviously the middle one, like we know that's second rate. First off, it's blurry, you know, you don't put a blurry picture out there. And the second and the third one, they're just pictures of your shake. You know, yes, we're drinking Shakeology, we're doing all this stuff, but you know what? Every other Beachbody coach is doing it too. So it's not making you stand out. A Shakeology post is not going to make you stand out. It's just your shaker cup there. So here are some ways where you can kind of incorporate Shakeology into your posts and make them more of a first-rate post. This first one is from Janelle Summers, which I'm sure all of you guys know who she is. She's our awesome upline coach. So she has it on here. It doesn't say anything about Shakeology in the picture, but you can obviously tell she's rocking this out. She's been doing this for a while. But I love more than anything is what she puts in the post. She talks about why you should drink it, and it's after a workout and yada yada. She goes through some really good information, and she provides so much value, you guys, to why this is a good drink. You know, she provides that in the comments. She's not putting it on the picture. She's not saying, here's my lab values on the picture. She's putting it there. She's also has a recipe in there. She's providing good value to her people that are following her. And then this other one is Bonnie Ingalls. And Bonnie Ingalls was actually one of the speakers that talked a lot about social media and stuff like that at Summit. And her tip was she always said that she never posts a picture with her Shakeology with the words actually pointing forwards. She's like, I want people to look at this picture and go, who is that awesome girl who is smiling like crazy? What is she drinking? I want some of that. And so it creates that curiosity, you guys. Like, this is one fabulous way to create curiosity. And I think everybody in the room, and Kate and Christy, you can correct me if I'm wrong, but I think everybody in the room was like, what? Are you kidding? Like, I always post like Shakeology forward and blah, blah, blah. But ever since then, I flip it around. I don't really tell people directly. She really talked about how you want to kind of breadcrumb these things and create that curiosity. You don't have to divulge all the details. You don't have to tell them everything. In fact, you don't even have to tell them you're drinking Shakeology in your post. You can just be like, hey, I'm drinking my superfood shake and it's awesome. The end. And people are going to go, what are you drinking? Because they're going to wonder, what is it that she's drinking that's all superfoods? So that's one way that you can really generate some curiosity. Okay, does everybody remember these posts? They were going around for a while. Even now, I'll still see them occasionally, where this is like seriously total marketing strategy. Hey, please help me. So you start building your affinity for Facebook. It's actually pretty genius if you think about it. But who wants to see these? Nobody wants to see these. And more than likely, you don't use all those emojis. You probably don't exactly write that way. So it's so easy to copy and paste something like this where it's going to build your affinity and you're going to start seeing a little bit more following from your Facebook page because that affinity is getting built. But if it's not for you, if it doesn't sound like you, then you don't want to, put posts up like this. And I meant to find a good one. I really couldn't find a good one that kind of was a good comparison for a first-rate post for this, guys. So sorry. Okay, here's some other second-rate posts. Now, these ones are the ones that kind of drive me crazy, I know, and a lot of other people, is standing behind or putting the product right out in front of us. So yes, this first picture has a picture of her in there, and I'm assuming that is her husband. They look like they coach together. But here's all this stuff about all these things, all these promotions, all this stuff, you guys. And this goes right back to, we are not salesmen and women, okay? We don't push products. We're not, yes, these people can get these things from us, but we do not want to be posting pictures of these products. It's way different when you're like, oh my gosh, I got my 21-day fix in the mail. I'm super excited. And you post a selfie with it versus putting all of these logos up on your page. Like, nobody wants that. Another one that I wish I could find, I wish I could have found a good picture because I swear I see them all the time, are ones that are like, hey, if you buy Shakeology, you get all of this. And it's like the entire thing of the 21-day fix for $10. And I know I've been guilty of putting that post up. I know I have. And I know probably quite a few of us have. Don't fall for it, because that's, once again, we're pushing product instead of pushing ourselves as coaches. And you guys, we're supposed to be a product of the product. We're supposed to be the ones that sit there and we're right up front, not the products themselves. All right, so here's some good first-rate posts where you can tie the product into what we're doing. Got to give some props out to Christy here. I love this one of hers. Here, I mean, it has nothing to do with the product there, but she talks about the yellow container and 21DF. Anybody that knows what 21-day fix is going to have an idea, but most people, if they don't know, they're going to go, what do you mean you're drinking your wine out of a yellow container? What does that mean? Like, they're going to want to know why, like, how does this work with what you're doing? And I know you're health and fitness, but yet you're still drinking wine. Like, that's crazy. It's going to generate some curiosity and still kind of get them intrigued into what she's doing and how is she incorporating wine into a healthy life. And then this other one, I just love this picture of how children are great imitators. Give them something great to imitate. You guys, once again, we have to be a product of the product, and you can see that they're incorporating their kids into their workout routine. And this is showing, hey, this can be a family thing, and you can see how this can work as a whole family. All right, and this one was from Kate actually today. I just loved it. This one goes right back. So I think this is a first-rate post, because remember we were talking about that mission statement, and one of my mission statements is to be the best and most devoted wife, like being an amazing, loving, devoted wife. And I felt like Kate totally embraced that here. And it also shows you guys that we're not robots. We're not these people that all we do is eat extremely healthy and work out all the time, and we're just go, 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 crazy, crazy, crazy. We also need to show people that we're human. And this is her showing that, hey, you know what? She can make a steak and some potatoes and her husband's going to love it. And you know what? She also took a bite. Big deal. We're not robots. So I just love this. I thought it really embraced the whole mission of who she wants to be. And I also know she wants to be a very loving and devoted wife. And it just embraces all of that. All right, guys, call to action. My last slide here. First off, you need to define your mission. Figure out that target audience and define the mission. Why are you putting posts up? What is your purpose? You're going to create your dream board, and I mean total dream board. What is your dream life look like? Are you debt-free? Are you traveling around the world? Are you leading a kick butt rock star team? Are you talking at Summit? Are you going to be an elite coach? Like, what is your dream? And then review your timeline. You guys, I had a nice little scrolling through wake up call when I was reviewing my timeline. And I honestly was like, you know what? I'm not abiding by the 80-20 rule. In fact, I was maybe making it more like 90-10. I was not sharing enough about this business. And I think I was falling back on a lot of excuses for different things that were just going on in my life. And it was just a good wake up call for me. So you need to go and review your timeline, go back through. If there's posts on there that you feel are second rate, hide those suckers. People don't need to see them. That's okay. You can hide them. You don't have to delete them. Just hide them from your timeline. So when somebody goes to your page, they're not scrolling through a ton of second rate posts. Okay. And it also helps. It's a good reminder because I know I was putting second rate posts up, you guys. I know sometimes I was posting without abiding by my mission. And it's just time to stop doing that because we're all a little better than that. All right, I'm going to stop the share. Hey, does anybody have questions?
I have some takeaways, Cyndal.
Awesome.
Right away at the beginning, you talked about who is your target. And I loved that. And I think it's so important. And I remembered one of the things we heard, I think it might've been last year at Summit. No, maybe it was this year. It was talking to you 5 minutes ago.
Yes.
Do you remember that? So like when you're thinking about it, like talk to you like 5 minutes ago. So what you just would have said to yourself 5 minutes ago or a day ago or a year ago, and what you would have told yourself about the opportunity or about the workout program or, that sort of thing. Because I think we probably were all skeptic and all that kinds of things. So that was one of my things like that just popped into my head when you were talking. Product placement, which you nailed. So I had it like written down. So I'm like, that's awesome. And then scroll stopping consistency. I just wanted to touch on it because you and Kate, and I've talked to Cyndal and Kate about this before, but if you guys follow their pages, I know when Kate or Cyndal is posting before I ever see who it is. Like I will flip through my phone and I know based on the picture and the fonts and the words and that sort of stuff, who it is before I even see it. Mm-hmm. So I think it's important to remember that you have a brand and that's what you're creating. So to try and be consistent in what you're making. So awesome stuff.
Key. I love that point, Christy, because you guys, I like to use the exact same. I use Rona is what I use for almost every single picture you ever see from me comes from Rona Designs. And it's just an app on my phone. Almost everything's taken on my phone. And I like to use the same font over and over and over again. Almost always my fonts are white. And I feel like that's just what I prefer. But I feel like I agree. Like Kate and Christy both had a very, actually you guys kind of have similar posting styles, but then Christy has she's really good at putting things to the side and having very good block letters. And Kate's really good with these splatter things. Just like you're saying, I know whose those posts are before, if they wouldn't even have their face on there, I would just know. So that's really good and such a great key to kind of forming that brand and making that first rate post. Anybody else have questions at all? I apologize. I just ran through that and talked really, really fast. So any other takeaways?
I have some takeaways. It's kind of delayed because I have my audio on one and my video on the other.
No.
So bear with me. But I think going back to defining your target audience, a lot of people don't do this. But when you are doing this, this is also going to help you define your posts. I think a lot of the times Cyndal was sharing the pieces of her life and who she is and who her target audience is, that gives you post ideas. So you don't want to just be posting about fitness and you don't want to just be posting about nutrition because that gets boring. You want to post about your life. You want to post about your family. You want to post about your dogs, all of those key things that you pulled from, make sure you're including those in your posts. The other takeaway, I had a lot, but the other takeaway, you mentioned, Cyndal, the 80-20 rule. So usually people, I feel fall between, they're either posting way too much business stuff or not enough. And I find that with myself too. So it's I get so in the groove of posting personal stuff that I'm I get nervous to post anything that's business related. Don't do that to yourself, because then people wonder, well, I don't know what she's doing. I heard about the 21-day fix. I know somebody else, and they're going to go with another coach. So they don't know what, you're not defining yourself enough as a coach too. So make sure that you're not falling in the area where you're not posting about the business enough. So great point. And Cyndal, you pointed that out as something that you noticed in yourself too. So I think a lot of people, it's easy to not follow that. And then be sure that you're posting publicly. So especially if you're using your personal page, I think it's scary for people for some reason to have their profile be public. You got to go public, because when you post something, your friend likes it, their friends aren't going to see that, the people you're not connected with. So you're only limiting yourself to your immediate friends or whoever you're posting to. And so you're not growing your market. You're not connecting with people that want to connect with you, or other people that are like you because they're friends with your friends with your friends with your friends. So make sure that you go public with your profile. Don't post your location. Don't post your address. Then you're going to be completely fine. Like, I don't post, I know people know I live in the Upper West Side, but I don't post my streets. Like, I try not to post any restaurants that are nearby just because I don't know. But if somebody's going to do something, they're going to, they're not, I don't know. Danielle Natoni had a perfect point. It even went down to posting about kids. Yeah, you have to feel comfortable, but I don't remember what she said, but it was like, you got to get over it. People want to see that part of your life. Now I'm making a bad case, but you got to get over it, because honestly, Christy, stop laughing at me. Honestly,
get over it.
You just don't want to post your locations. That's the key thing. There's creeps everywhere. And I, in the middle of the night, get weird people that send friend requests. And I'm like, I don't know you. And I delete them and I block them. And that's what you do. So don't limit yourself and your audience by not, like Cyndal said, make sure your public is profile and you're posting publicly as well.
And you can choose, if you're running this from your personal page, especially, you can choose that, like, if it's a post about your kids and you're like, I'm just not comfortable with, I don't know, anybody else's kids run around naked like crazy. Mine do all the time. So there's a lot of bare-butted pictures coming through my newsfeed sometimes. And those are posts that I just post to my friends. Like, you can choose who you want, but anything else, like, mine's automatically set to go public. And if it's a post that I'm like, no, I just want my friends to see this, I choose that. You guys, you have that option. Mm-hmm. So like Kate said, don't limit your audience by being afraid. We're not fearful people, you guys. We are here, and it's like, we're going to bring it because we want to help people. And this is how you help people, by being open and honest and being you and sharing your life.
Cyndal, I had a question. I got distracted when you were talking about, by just other things in my house, when you were talking about the posts about like getting more affinity to your page. Mm-hmm. Did you talk about how they said to do that without asking people?
I wish I could have found, like, I had a picture on my phone that she like gave it as an example at Summit, but it was just too blurry. I couldn't like post it.
Right. Basically, like, wasn't it like a call to action or something, or like asking a question and then people commented?
Well, she did kind of a similar post, but it was a picture of her. Like, she took just a selfie, and she was like, hey, I'm not sure what's going on with all these people talking about, like, Facebook only shows you 7%. Drop me an emoji or something like that if you see this. Like, she still said the same thing, but she made it her own and how she said it, and she had a picture along with it. It wasn't just, here's a random post, because let's face it, you guys, nobody looks at random posts hardly ever. Like, you need to have a picture. Like, that's going to be your scroll stopping thing. And she just worded it in a certain way that, like, it just sounded like her. So she still kind of took advantage of, like, the building affinity post, but she just made it her own versus just copying and pasting like everybody was doing.
Right. Okay, cool. Thanks.
Thank you for asking. I wish I could have found, I even went through, you guys, I spent so much time scrolling through her Facebook because I'm like, I know it was Bonnie Ingalls. Where did she post this? And I could not find it. So.
And another thing to go with that is don't post and run. Like, don't post and then.
Yeah, that's a good point.
And stay away from your phone. You want to build your affinity by so when somebody comments, you want to immediately comment back. So give yourself 10 minutes. And sometimes I feel like lately Facebook is now showing them later on. Personally, things change, but you want to be sure that you reply back to every single person on the comment section when they comment back, because that builds your affinity as well for that post. So make sure you're doing that. I think most people do, but that was something I didn't know about when I first started. And that really helps.
My husband makes fun of me because he's like, do you just go through every single one of these comments and like comment back? I'm like, yeah, I do. And sometimes it might be 3 hearts of emoji because there's like 500 comments and they all say exactly the same thing. But I'm like, I still appreciate these people. And yeah, I'm going to comment back for them. And yeah, it does build your affinity. So like Kate said, every single person that comments, you should be commenting back.
And if you have a post that is dead and like nobody likes it, I get these all the time. Like, it's okay. You can delete it. Like, nobody needs to know you put it up. So if you're like, oh my gosh, that actually was really bad, or I worded that in a really bad way, and like 10, you can see on your Facebook public page, like how many people saw it and then nobody liked it or commented, and you're like, oh, just delete it. Like, it's totally okay. Everybody does that. It's totally.
I have a confession. Like 3 minutes before we went on, I was like, Cyndal, I'm posting a second-rate post right now. And then I deleted it during her call. Like, no, I want to finish. So I knew what I was doing. But.
What other questions are there? Are there any questions? Anything you struggle with posting about?
I don't have a question, but I do have a comment. Not specifically about posting on your timeline, but my sister comments to me today, we're doing a 5-day clean eating challenge, and luckily Kate's awesome and already did the script for me, and my sister said, none of this sounds like you. So people know. I mean, obviously she's my twin. She knows me better than anyone, so she knows what I sound like. But that like really gave me a push to start writing my own stuff. And I love what you said about being a brand. Because I'm all over the place. I probably used every font available on Word Swag, and I'm enjoying this. I'm learning a lot. I hate that I showed up late. Apparently I'm not good with the whole time zone thing, but thanks for sharing all this stuff. I'll catch up.
Jennifer, I have to disagree that you don't have a brand, because I was actually going to do a shout out and be like, Jennifer, like, you're another person. I see like someone doing a pull up and I'm like, that's Jennifer. I like it. Or, someone's swinging from a random rope in the middle of, I don't know how she did that. And I'm like, is she Lana Del Rey? I don't know what's going on. So, but I know when you're posting, and I know when it's you. And it's okay to use every font in Word Swag. But then I'm like, oh, she's using Word Swag. So it's not a brand.
Okay.
It's just, yeah. I mean, I think we all get there, but you're consistent. And I think consistency is part of that, building a brand. Like, everything's kind of looking the same, and we know, not that it's not still eye-catching, but people just automatically like it without even looking at it then, and it's awesome.
Another tip is to use the same filter. So not all the time does it work on your images, but if you use the same filter, like I always know, several of you, when I go through, like Cyndal's are light colored, like they kind of are light, and so use a consistent filter too when you can, because either you're going to have vibrant images, you're going to have kind of a light cool tone, that all comes into play as well. And it makes your life so much easier because you just scroll, put the filter on, add your words, you're done. So you save a lot of time as well. Otherwise you could sit there and be like, is this pretty enough? Like, I don't know if this looks right, but it makes it super easy.
Jennifer, eventually with the Word Swag, you will like flip through and you'll probably have like 3 main ones that you're like, love, love, love. And you'll just like literally you'll flip through, and that's what I do with Rona all the time. I'm like, there it is, those 2. I even do that with Canva. I think I use 4 of the main ones, and that's
I'm obsessed with Canva.
I know we're kind of running a little later, guys, so if anybody needs to leave, go right ahead. But if there are questions, we will stick around and answer whatever you guys have, or comments, anything you guys are struggling with right now, we are here to help.
Whether it's social media related or not.
I love seeing the babies on here.
I have another question. So if you're not like I was pretty consistent in the first few months, and then I, moved across country and fell off the bandwagon. I'm back. I'm trying. But if you don't have a good idea of what the business can actually do for you personally, like what kind of income you can get, and what kind of requirement. I mean, right now I feel like it takes me forever to post in the groups and to keep updated and message people. I feel like it's not a power hour. It's more like a power hour 3 times a day. So how do you share the business opportunity when you aren't really sure? I mean, like, I know there's great benefits. I hear them from you guys all the time, and I want to share them, but I want it to be true, like truly coming from me. What's a good way to share?
Can I touch on that once, and then you guys can add in?
Yep.
What my opinion is, because I'm kind of, I've been in that same boat, and I think there's a couple ways. One, and I don't know if you heard my call that I did a while ago, but leading with your vision. So where do you want this business to take you? Maybe not where you are right now, but where you're wanting it to go and why you're going to do it. And then also those internal things, you joined Jennifer and all of you because something inside of you said this was right for you. And so taking those things, and maybe it's not as tangible and you can't say it's $500 extra a week or whatever, but it's like the way you feel in your heart and how happy you are and your body and the accountability and, the relationship. Okay. I would leave there.
Thank you.
That's my opinion. I don't know if Cyndal and Kate have.
That's exactly what I was going to say. My phone died. Sorry. So now you just get a black screen. But as far as like just sharing a transformation that's emotional, spiritual, like it doesn't have to be financial. But if you want to add the financial piece in, so when you have a great week and you helped a lot of people, what could that cover for your family? Like this covered our grocery bill for the week. And like those little things help a lot of people. Like sometimes a lot of people just need help with their grocery bill or with childcare or to afford a babysitter so you can have a date night one night. Like that'd be an awesome post. Those little things that you did because you were helping other people. It doesn't have to be a big financial thing. But exactly what Christy said, like the internal things, the internal transformations because of becoming a coach.
Awesome. Thank you.
Good question.
That was a fabulous question. I know that was something I struggled with too for a while because I was like, gosh, I feel like I'm putting a lot of energy into this and it's definitely not comparing as far as like the financials that was coming out of it. And I really had to just concentrate on how good it was making me feel. And definitely listen to Christy's call if you have not listened to it, because you guys, it's all about patience and it plays out in the end. If you're here a year from now, I promise you, you're going to be making the financial means that you were hoping to. And it's going to keep growing. So stick with it, be patient with it. It is well worth it, but it's sometimes hard, especially I have like an extremely supportive husband, like very, very supportive. But the times that he would look at me and be like, you really have to post again right now? And I'd be like, because I hadn't figured out a system for myself. Just like try to figure out that system instead of, how you're saying you're doing like 3 power hours in a day. Make a defined time that this is all you are doing and only stick to 1 hour. If you're like, all I can give because I need to be with my kids and I need to be doing other things and you're unpacking, you're still doing lots of stuff, you just moved across country. Really just go, okay, I have an hour. That is it. I cannot do any more. And maybe if I have a half hour tonight, I'll try. But don't try to like sell yourself thin and be just doing it throughout the day because you're not going to be as productive and you're really not going to get as much done either. And it's just going to drive you crazy. Don't do that. Okay. I did that. I drove myself crazy. Nobody else do that. It's not fun.
I think one of the coaches, I think was it Allie Upham or something, talked about at Summit that she does her power hour like whenever in the morning. And then she sets aside a half hour at night, and that's when she checks into her challenge groups, answers her messages, and does all that. And like, that's it. Like, she's not going in there all day long. She's like going in when she, excuse me, has that scheduled time. So I'm not great at that, but I'd like to be someday.
Yeah, that's something I have to work on too. Like this weekend, I was having a conversation with someone, and I'm like in bed, and I'm like, well, I'm talking. And so it went until midnight, and I'm like, I can't do this. Like, you should not be doing that. Don't like start doing that. You know, set your hours, because you're also setting expectations for your team in the future and for your challengers in the future. Feel like they can get a hold of you immediately, then you have to be on the spot immediately. Like, you're setting those things for your challengers, for your coaches in the future. Like, you have to be very protective of your time, because this business isn't meant to make you feel crazy and busy. It's meant to give you freedom. And yes, it takes hard work and patience to build something that can be super long-term and give you freedom that probably no other job that you have experienced could, but it's worth it. You know, it's like those few years where you're willing to do those things so that long-term your family can have immense freedom, or whatever your dreams are. I feel really weird talking when you can't see me. It's getting creepy. It's getting really creepy. Okay, I'll stop.
Like you're in my house.
I just love seeing your face so much. So, I remember asking Kate, like fairly, maybe it wasn't really early on, but in that point in time when I was literally driving myself crazy, responding to every message I possibly could, because in my head I was going, I can't help them if I'm not talking to them. Like, that's what I kept telling myself. I can't help them if I'm not talking to them. So I need to talk to them all the time. And I, like, no joke, you guys, was like, this is just not worth it. Like, I'm going absolutely crazy with this. And I remember asking him, like, okay, what is an appropriate response time? And she was like, 24 hours is totally fine. So if you send somebody a message and they reply back right away, you have till the next day to respond, okay? And just like she said, you're setting people up. Like, if you're responding instantaneously over and over again, just don't do it to yourself, because that's what I did, and I totally drove myself crazy. But 24 hours is totally fine. 32 hours is fine. If it takes 48 hours, that's okay. You know, I try to respond within 24 if I can. Occasionally I'll go a little longer. And if I can respond earlier during a time that I have designated for that, I will do that. Or I will definitely screen. If I have a moment where I'm on Facebook, I'm going to screen through who's messaging me. If it's one of my coaches that they're new coach, I'm going to respond back to those people before I respond back to somebody that's asking about a challenge pack, because I know I need to respond to those people, especially if they're new coaches right away. But it is, you know, it's just setting up that time, and really you don't have to respond to every single person, okay, right away. You know, try making that 24 hours, but it doesn't have to be within there either. All right, are we giving you guys tips? Do we make this long enough? Anybody else have any questions?
I was going to say, I'm finding it hard to make enough posts, like to get the 3 to 5, like more personal, like trying to find enough to talk about all day long.
And Christina, were you one that, like, how often would you post before doing this?
I guess it just depends. I mean, if I had a lot going on that I wanted to share, then, you know, if I'm doing a lot, like, oh, look, I'm out doing this, or look what I just happened to see, that kind of thing. But like a lot of times I would post my meals all the time because I had people interested in, you know, seeing what I was cooking. So, you know, especially if we're trying not to do too much health and fitness to where it seems like it's all because of like Beachbody or something like that, then it's like I don't really know what to post because that's a lot of what I post.
Well, here, I'll clarify for that. And Kate and Christy, tell me if I'm clarifying incorrectly, please. You can still post as many of those food pictures as you want.
Yes.
Okay. That is just health in general. That is not business per se. Yes, it's part of what we do, but it's not like here's my fitness workout and here is my sweaty selfie, and here is me promoting my Beachbody program. Okay, like it's still post those pictures, especially if you were doing this before. If that is something you were doing before, you keep doing that, because that's a you. People already expect that from you, so keep that coming. That's good stuff.
I agree, Cyndal. I think that's part of your brand. Like if that's what people are wanting from you, that's what you should be giving them. The other thing that I don't use it as much as I should, but I did like an Excel spreadsheet, and I would do it for like a couple weeks at a time. And I would just say like Sunday through Saturday, and I would have 3 slots. And I would be like, okay, and this was when I was pregnant that I made it. So on Monday morning, I'm going to do a prenatal, or like not even in the morning. I would just have 3. Like I'm going to do a prenatal post, I'm going to do a personal development post, and I'm going to do a shout out to somebody. And I didn't know who it was going to be necessarily or what that topic was going to be about, but I knew that I had ideas. So I had all these ideas, and I could look and be like, oh yeah. And sometimes I changed it up. But I think giving yourself kind of a map, because there's a lot you can talk about, but when you're in the moment and it's like noon and you're like, oh, I haven't posted, it's a lot harder to come up with something and feel like it's first rate, right? So dig into your personal development and share value. Teach people something, teach them how to do a live video and teach them how to make your meal. Do that sort of thing. I mean, that all counts. So
yep, I completely agree. Like do what you consistently do. Just make sure that you're adding in some of your personal life into there, and that's kind of the key piece of that. What I would do is I on my phone, I have on the notes app. Some days I'm feeling really creative, and I'm like, oh, that'd be a great post idea. That'd be a great post idea. I write those all down because I know that I'm going to have a day where I'm like, I have nothing to post about. Like I'm just not feeling it. And that's normal to have those days. So you have something that you can go back to be like, oh, I could post about that. So like when you're in the groove, like just write it down or put it in your notes section, and then you'll have something to go to for that.
Okay. Thank you all.
Oh, and Pinterest is a great place to look too. Like save a secret board. You can have secret boards, and like if you see cool poses that people are doing in pictures, save it to the board. If you see a cool motivational quote, save it to a motivational quote board that's secret, and then you can go to those when you have time to be like, oh, what could I use today? Pinterest has so many great ideas. Even if just someone took a cool shot of a piece of or a recipe or like food. It's just an interesting way to look at things. It just adds more creativity. You don't have to reinvent the wheel. Just make it yours.
That's a great tip, Kate. Anybody else? Okay, well, I think I'm going to call it. We'll end this call. Thank you guys for jumping on. I apologize again that I was a little late jumping on, but I appreciate you guys hanging around while I got my router figured out. Gotta love restarting those things. So anyway, thank you again for jumping on, and everybody have a great night. Like Kate mentioned, definitely listen to the Monday morning wake up call. It's a great one this week. It's going to tie into what we already talked about. And everybody, peace out. Take it easy.
See you later.
Hey.